There you go.
Okay, just bear with me one second. Hang on, I got another phone ringing here. Okay. All right, I'm back. We ready to start the meeting?
Yes, Rick just joined.
Okay, how you doing, Rick?
He's connecting right now.
Okay. So I'm going to call to order the March 27th meeting of the North Beach Board of Appeals. We have a full agenda tonight, so we'll get right into it. The first case is 2301, application for vacation rental at 3915 7th Street, excuse me. The proponents are, let's see, Harry and Danielle Van Osen. Are the Van Osens on the call?
That would be me.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. So we have a bunch of questions. Hi, how are you? So just have a bunch of questions I have to ask you. We'll open up the floor to any public comment, and then we'll have some discussion with the board members, and we'll make a ruling on the request. So just bear with me, because these are questions I have to ask everybody. It's part of the code. Some of them seem peculiar, but just bear with me and just answer them to the best of your ability. So will grant of this special exception for the property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No,
Okay, will grant of the special exception be harmonious in character with other property in the neighborhood?
yes,
Will grant of the exception substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood?
no,
Okay. Will grant of the special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
no,
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for this property?
yes,
Will pedestrian and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
no,
Okay, and does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
yes.
Okay, great. Those are all the standard questions. Do you have anything brief you want to say to the board about your request, or anything unusual you feel the need to mention?
No, I don't.
Okay. So does any of the board members have any questions they want to ask the proponents?
It looks pretty straightforward. They didn't have any violations to fix on the rental portion of it. Looks
Okay,
like you
and-
recently bought it. There was a closing date on it.
yes, it was just inspected, I guess, by Rick earlier this month. Looks like he had a few issues. I guess they'll work that out with him if they need to. Any other questions from any of the board members?
I just have a question about the parking associated with the home. Is there an actual parking pad? I couldn't tell from the photos that were taken on the outside of the home. Or is there street parking that would be available for the home?
We have both driveway parking and street parking.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. Any other board members have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. So now I'd like to open it up for public comment. So I just ask if anybody would like to enter a comment onto the record or have any questions for the proponents. If you could, raise your hand. And make sure you announce your name and address and your your relationship to the subject property. And just please keep your comments and questions brief for us. So anybody have anything they'd like to enter as far as this request is concerned? Anybody?
Yes, I have one online. 1 second.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Oh, yes.
Sandra.
Sandra's got her hand open.
Yes, I just have a quick question. You, on your application, you mentioned renting for 300 days of the year, and I wondered how you arrived at that figure.
We do not live at the property, so that would be the max amount of days that I would hope that it would be rented. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be rented for that, but you know, at the best case scenario, it would be 300 days.
I
Ms.
see.
Ms. Raviv, could you also give us your address?
Oh, sure,
Brief-
40018 Street.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, that's it. I just had that question.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Okay. Well, next we'll move to discussion amongst the board. Anybody have any comments or any concerns about this? If not, does anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance for 3915 7th Street.
Second,
Okay. We have a motion to approve the special exception for a variance for vacation rental. Do we have a second?
second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Congratulations, folks. We will move on to the second item on the agenda. It is-
And Jim, I just want to let you know that Arbor has joined the meeting, Arbor Love,
Okay,
on the
I
board.
thought I saw her on there. Hi, Albrecht. I'm glad you could join us.
Yeah, sure.
Good, good. So good to have somebody else on the call tonight. Okay, so jumping to item number 2, case 23-02. Application for a vacation rental special exception for 8930 Frederick Avenue. The proponents are Neil Schwartz and Maxine Nisley. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. Are the proponents on the call?
They're here in attendance. If you come up to the microphone, there's a microphone on, Mickey.
This is the main microphone that's grabbing it,
Okay,
but it picks them up from, should
Okay.
pick them up from there. So.
there we go.
Hello,
Can you hear us okay?
yes.
There you go.
Hi, okay, thank you for joining us. Again, I have a bunch of standard questions I just want to run through to ask you, if you could just answer them to the best of your ability. Will granted the special exception for this property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No,
Will grant of the special exception be harmonious in character with property in the neighborhood?
yes,
Will grant of the special exception substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood?
no,
Will grant of this special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
no,
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for the property?
yes,
Will pedestrian and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
no,
And does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
yes.
Okay, so Stacy, I'm assuming you could hear all the answers. I couldn't quite make them out.
Yes,
Sorry.
Okay, great,
they were all
great.
correct.
Okay, do either of you have any brief comments for the board about your request?
No, we small house, so we don't plan on having the rental be mostly to families with children or a couple. It's not going to be a large number of people that we expect to have in the house, and we wouldn't want that in the house, so.
It's a 600 square foot cottage and it's right down the street from where we wanted to come retire down here, but aren't quite ready to do so. So we've actually done Airbnb down here before
As a
As a-
renter.
as a renter, correct? So right down the street from where we live, that's how we kind of found the place where we're looking to come and visit during, our weekends, which we do now, and on occasion rent out. Welcome.
Okay, great. Thank you for the comments. Any of the board members have any questions for the proponents?
I saw with the inspection that there was be a fire extinguisher that will be put in.
Yes,
that
and
is put in.
it was purchased the same day as the inspection that's in the house now.
We sent the picture.
Okay, fantastic. And then parking, what that's, sorry,
Is on the street only,
it is on the street.
yes.
Okay, any other comments from the board members or questions?
For me.
Okay, so now I would like to open it up for any public comments or questions that folks may have. Does anybody on the call or in the audience have any questions for the proponents? Sorry, I was muted. I don't see any hands raising. Is there anybody in the room that has any questions?
Wait, there's one, resident. Can you come up, please, and state your name and address?
Deborah Wells, 8934 Frederick. I'm 30 feet from their house, which is, you know, tight. There's going to be 2 houses built across the street. Parking is already tight and it will get worse. And we have Airbnb that's catty corner with my house, and I see what goes on there. And our street will be a whole lot more active when this is rented out.
Do you have problems with the current Airbnb rental that's down the street from you?
I'm far enough away to where I can sit there and go, people out there all hours of the night, drifting from the curb to the street. They'll have, you know, it's people that rent somebody else's properties and have parties and then go home and leave a mess for you to pick up.
Have you called that owner and let them know that there's parties happening?
Oh, they know, they're the ones that clean it up. I know the young lady that has the property. I mean, when she started it, I thought, yeah, cool, you make easy money. It's not easy money. And there's a lot of activity on that area of the street in summer.
Have they broken the noise ordinances or any of the normal things?
I'm far enough away where it's not really affecting me, but I can sit out front and just watch, you know, it's entertaining. But this is gonna be right 30 feet away.
Yeah, I know that's just disappointing because I lived right next to an Airbnb and it was Norma and she's very responsive and she asked people to leave when I let her know things were happening. But that is concerning that there's an owner like that. Yes.
Could I ask a question? Stephanie Travers, 9214 Frederick. You said it's 600 square feet. How many bedrooms? Only 2. So I wonder if there would be more people parking there than if it was lived in full time.
Right.
I'd assume visitors might come in
That's
one
it.
car versus people that live there that might
Right.
have 2. So it might actually reduce.
Oh, no, because then you're gonna have people coming down as well. Now, do they have access to the beach when they're renting this property?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You get your family down there and get in on the beach for free. So you have many cars you gonna have?
I mean, I'm not going to Airbnb it, but as a resident of the same street, I personally don't have a problem with it. Because in my estimation, in a house that small, I would assume that it would be a very small family. They already said they didn't want to rent to many people at once, so they would keep
But
it
you
small.
don't know what they're bringing.
But they live in the area and they visit.
And it's where these things.
And we have ring cameras that, and when you sign up for Airbnb, you specify the number of people that you want to visit, so we track it on the ring and.
Shake my head. I know what Sam's going through. But
I
anyway,
understand.
I know where you gotta live with it.
That was the Airbnb that we actually rented, and it has dual floors, and that building can accommodate a lot of people. Like, we don't even have a fire pit, we have a teeny tiny front porch, and we're looking for.
We're not,
we're
you're
trying to
not
keep it
really
like that.
big, so.
Yeah, no, I understand. We had a rental property in DC for 5 years. Trust me, I hear you, and I understand that. We're gonna retire a little bit later than what we anticipated. But we're down here a lot. This is not looking to rent a maximum of 300 days. This is our other home.
Could we be reasonable to say that if things were getting out of hand, you would prefer to get a phone call
Alright.
or a notice of some kind? That's what I'm really disappointed in, whichever one is on the street, is that most of the people come in. I mean, I have an Airbnb right across from us, the same, and we haven't had any issues, so I am disappointed that we're hearing there are some issues.
I do see here that it's not gonna be an expected number of 300 days a year, it's about 90 days a year, so it's a smaller amount of time. That this would be rented out.
Yeah, it's only because my son's not gonna live here this summer, he's doing something else for school, you know. So we need to have that in place if we do this. And I say that with great, we have amazing neighbors and we would never want to do anything.
Yeah, a lot of
disrespect-
them
we would disrespect your
and
neighbors, and I
they were like,
apologize. We should have checked all the boxes and we just weren't quite sure how this process worked. So Deborah, our apologies, we should have gone and knocked up and down the street and said we were going to go through this process. It kind of just popped up on us, but it's changed again, so I apologize. We should have come and knocked on your door.
It would have been cool.
Yes, it
You'd have
would.
got the feel of the neighborhood. It surprises me Linda's not here. She was quick and she's the one in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I spoke my piece. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else from the public who want to make a comment? Okay, so open up the floor for the members of the board to discuss any issues or concerns.
Jim,
Yes,
can you hear me? This is Rick.
yes, I can hear you.
Just for a little feedback, because the two houses that are being built across the street did not come before the Board of Appeals. The resident that was just speaking is correct. There are two additional houses being built across the street. However, the house that's there now, the lot was subdivided into two additional lots, but they are of size that did not require variances.
Right,
And all three homes will be providing full off-street parking for those properties.
okay, great. Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
One home is actually a home with a in-law apartment. So that's two families living there.
One of the new builds you're saying?
That's the one across the street. Then they're gonna put a house on both sides of it. So yeah, that street is tight parking. Till we get to about your house and then it opens up a little bit, but it ain't gonna be open for much longer.
Yeah, I was just relating that the three houses that are across the street on the corner there will be providing full-sized off-street parking spaces as required by the ordinance.
Great.
I did have one more question. What is the normal traffic flow? What is the normal traffic flow down the street? Is it pretty active?
In mine, you got the townhouses here and Fifth Street here. When I moved here, my children could play in the street. Now it's like, they don't stop at the stop sign. They keep flying from Fifth Street up to, Second? And yeah, it's not gonna be fun, but
She is right.
right now you get one car pass at a time
Also,
because of the townhouse.
Okay, would the board members have any discussion of the proposal, or anybody care to make a motion?
So I'm comfortable with it. I mean, they've already discussed having a ring, identifying the number of people that that they have on there, their previous rental owners, so they know how that goes. So if there isn't anybody else on the board that has any other questions, make a motion to approve the variance for 8930 Frederick Ave.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the special exception for 8930 Frederick Avenue. Do we have a second? I will second it. All in favor?
I,
Aye. All opposed? Okay, so we have two board members that I don't believe voted. I didn't hear.
he said good.
I did I.
Lisa voted, and with our no vote is a vote in affirmative, just so for everyone's knowledge.
Okay, so she messaged you or something?
No, she didn't vote. She's online. She's attending the meeting. When you don't speak up, it's an affirmative vote.
Okay.
I have voted yes.
Oh,
This
okay.
is Harper. This is Harper. I'm very soft-spoken. I have vocal injury, but I voted yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna raise a hand next time, okay?
Thank you, Abra. You might have been muted too, so just,
You were muted also.
so, okay, so it's approved. Congratulations, folks, and we'll move on to case number 3. It's case 27-03, application for vacation rental for 3908 3rd Street. It is, the proponents are, the proponent is Tammy Gatton. Is Ms. Gatton present in the room?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Ms. Gatton, how are you?
Hi, fine.
Great, great.
Thanks.
So I have a few standard questions let me ask you, and then we'll open it up for comments. Will grant a special exception for the property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No,
Will grant of the special exception be harmonious in character with other properties in the neighborhood?
absolutely.
Will grant of the special exception substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood?
No,
Will grant of the special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
no,
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for the property?
yes,
Will pedestrians and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
no,
And lastly, does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
yes, it does.
Okay, great. Let me just look through your application here real quick. Okay, right, I recognize that. Okay, do any of the board members have any questions for Ms. Gatton about her request? And just, okay, so you're expecting to rent about 75 days a year. So no questions from the board members? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Open it up to anybody in the audience that would like to ask any questions or raise any comments. Anybody in person raising their hand?
No,
Yeah, just pick it up.
no one in the audience.
Okay, I don't see anybody online.
I actually do have one more thing, one thing I do want to bring up. Just took a look at the inspection and I didn't miss this, but I didn't see that a fire extinguisher had been marked off as being in the unit.
Are you asking Rick about the fire extinguisher?
Yes, I am.
Rick, do you have anything about, you know anything about that?
No, so the fire extinguisher is no longer an actual required code from the fire code. It is something that we are still asking them to provide. I believe Donnie spoke with Ms. Gatton about providing one. So I believe she will be providing one when the property is rented.
Okay, is that true, Ms. Gatton?
There's one there. I didn't get a request about that. The only thing I was asked to do is put street address numbers on the house. And then they said I didn't have to because they're already on the house. They're on the fence.
Okay, so, but you've.
But there is a fire extinguisher.
Okay, good to know. Thank
I'll
you.
make sure and correct the property inspection sheet.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, so any discussion amongst the board about this particular request? Any concerns or problems? If not, does anybody?
We should probably ask everybody else, how is the parking there?
The parking?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. It is on-street parking. There's enough room for 2 cars or a car and a trailer. My neighbor, to the left of me has a big, frontage, and he's very nice. And he said if anybody had an issue or needed more space, they could certainly park in front of his house. My neighbors on the right side are very nice too. Every neighbor helps each other out. I spend a good deal of time there and take each other's trash cans in and things like that. So everybody gets along real good and has no problem.
That's
They
good.
enjoy meeting different people.
It's good to hear. It's good. Keep close contact with those folks nearby because you want to keep them on your good side. So, okay.
Yeah, I didn't
any-
see anybody here that's of my neighbors, but I've talked to them also, since I bought the house. We're good friends and we have no problems.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, any motion from the board? All right, I will,
Yeah, I'll do it. So I motion to approve the application for the special exception variance for vacation rentals for 3908 3rd Street.
Thank you.
okay, we have a motion to approve the special exception for 3908 3rd Street. Do we have a second?
I second.
This- Okay.
We have a second. All in favor?
I
Hi.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Gatton.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. All right, we're moving on to case 2304, application for vacation rental for 3940 3rd Street. Hang on one second, my document's opening. The proponents are Peter Lehman and Katie, can't make out the name.
Actually, they were the old owners. This is Maria Warner. I'm the new owner. Just updating the license to my name.
Okay, so this has been previously approved and you're just switching it to your name?
Correct. And we've been operating it. They were operating it as an Airbnb for about a year before I purchased it. And we've been operating it under the exception since April when I purchased.
Okay,
Jim,
so,
wait, Jim, one moment. The license does not go with the sale of the home, it goes with the owner. So she would need to reapply under her name for this particular license.
Yes, I have done that.
Is it under her name, the application on file?
the application on file says Peter Lehman and Katie.
No, you have to reapply under your name, not the previous owners.
Okay, on the, see, I see on the hearing notice that has my name, special exemption and license Maria Warner, 3940 3rd Street. I also paid a $400 fee for the special exemption when I applied for the license. And our initial meeting was canceled, and then we weren't notified about the second meeting, and we slipped through the cracks until we got on this meeting.
Real quick, maybe the old one got put up. Real quick. Jim, why don't you go to the next one while I do a little bit of research?
okay, I will do that. So we'll move on to case 23-05, application for vacation rental for 8832 Dayton Avenue. The proponents is Diana J. Fox. Is Ms. Fox on the call?
I'm here in person.
Hi there. You're in person. Okay, good. So I just have a few questions for you. You can answer them to the best of your ability. Will granted the special exception for this property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No,
Will granted the special exception be harmonious in character with other property in the neighborhood?
yes,
Will granted the special exception substantially diminish or impair the property values within the neighborhood?
no,
Will granted special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
No.
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for this property?
Yes.
Will pedestrian and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
No.
And does the property conform to the applicable regulations for the district in which it's located?
Yes.
Okay, great. Scanning through your proposal is. And this is the first time you've made a request for,
Yes, we actually paid for it in the middle of last year. I think
Okay.
it was in April of last year, but this is the first meeting that you've had to come to.
okay, yeah, it looks like your inspection was done in the summertime.
Last year. Also, yeah.
Okay, do you have any just brief comments you want to share with the board?
You know, we're just excited to be here. We love North Beach. Okay.
Okay, so any board members have any questions for Ms. Fox?
Well, first, I think you guys have the most adorable house.
We agree. Thank you. We're very excited.
And you guys have a large frontage, so the parking is not gonna be an issue. I know you're right across from the church.
They're parking across the street and the food bank also. Not that we're telling people to use that, but it is there.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot of room in general. So I don't think that parking is gonna be a problem. We're gonna discussion topic there. I have no questions on this window. I don't either.
Okay. Nobody else from the board? All right, thank you, Ms. Fox. We'll open up the floor now for any public comments. Does anybody on the call or in the room have any questions or comments? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. All right, so we'll move on to discussion. Any discussion amongst the board as far as concerns about the proposal or its approval? No, okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
I motion to approve the special exemption for the rental at 8832 Dayton Avenue.
Okay, we have a motion to approve a special exception for the vacation rental at 8832 Dayton. Do we have a second?
Second, this is Aubra.
We have a second from Aubra. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Fox. Thank you for coming tonight.
Jim,
Okay.
can we go back to 39 43rd Street?
Yes.
The wrong application did get put into that. She was actually scheduled for your July 2022 meeting.
Okay.
And so I've emailed the application to you, but if you go back in board docs to the July meeting, it's in there already.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes, if you go to your July 2022 meeting. But I also emailed it to you in the interim.
Okay. Just bear with me. Trying to switch around to it. 2022. Okay. The meeting that was rescheduled.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So, and this was 39 43rd Street?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me take a look at this. Okay. Here we go. Application for Maria Warner. 39 43rd Street. Okay, renting 250 days a year. Looks like everything else is in order. Inspection was not an issue. Okay, Yeah, everything's dated from spring and summer of last year. Okay, Ms. Warner, I'm sorry, I just gotta switch back and forth. You're online, Ms. Warner, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can I read through my standard questions for you and have you answer them?
Yes, please.
Okay. Will granted special exception for this property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No.
Will granted special exception be harmonious in character with other property in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Will granted special exception substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood?
No.
Will grant of the special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
No.
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for the property?
Yes.
Will pedestrian and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
No.
And finally, does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. So is there something unusual? Is this one unit?
This is a top bottom duplex, so 2 units.
Okay. And so the request is for 2 units, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do any of the board members have any questions for Ms. Warner?
Just to confirm,
Question.
so the parking spaces for the 2 units, there's only one.
There is a driveway that parks 2. We also have approximately 3 spaces in front of our house that would be considered our house spaces. And then the house to our left is also abandoned, so there's rarely anyone parked in that area either.
Okay, thanks for that info. Any other questions? No questions? Okay, so I'd like to, I'm
I
sorry.
would say that I don't have a question, but I would like to say that it is a 2-unit. I think that we all appreciate her earlier discussion. If both units get rented out, follow the noise variances, no big parties, all that kind of stuff that would be against any of the allowable stuff in town. Not saying that's gonna happen. When you have a bigger option, you're more open to those things.
Yes, ma'am. We've all of our neighbors have our phone numbers. We know all of our neighbors. We've haven't had an issue that and we live a street over too on 2nd Street. So we're right here to address anything as soon as it happens, if it were to happen.
Okay, that's very good to know. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, I'm going to open it up for public comment. Anybody on the Zoom call have their hand up? No? Anybody in the room? No? Okay, so any discussion from the board about, excuse me, any discussion from the board about this?
No issues on my part.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion? All right, I will make a motion to approve the vacation rental special exception for 3940 3rd Street. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Warner. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I've got to jump back over to tonight's agenda. We are going on to case number 2306. Application for vacation rental for 9131 Atlantic Avenue. The proponent. Hold on one second. Sorry. I was on the wrong screen. The proponent is Siobhan Hensley. Ms. Hensley in the room or on the call?
They're in person.
Okay, Ms. Hensley,
Hi.
hi there. So I have a few questions for you. I got to ask you, then we'll open it up for discussion. Will granted the special exception for this property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No.
Will granted the special exception be harmonious in character with other property in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Will grant of the special exception substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Will grant of the special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties? Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for the property?
Yeah.
Will pedestrian and vehicular traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
No.
And lastly, does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any comments you want to share with the board before we ask you any questions?
No.
Okay. So you just, you haven't specified how much it's going to be rented, so it's just, do you have any comment about that? You indicate you're unsure about how much it'll be rented. You just,
It's for 925. Do you mean a night?
no, I'm sorry. How many days per year it would be rented? You indicate unsure.
I would assume, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, available.
I'm probably not more than like 90 days a year.
Okay, good to know.
If I got that many, I would probably slow it down. I just don't know yet.
Okay, thank you.
Not more than 90.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions from the board members?
yeah. So this is one that's actually on the boardwalk.
That's right.
Do you have parking spaces? Do you have plans
Yeah.
for parking?
When you live on the boardwalk, you get one pass. So I'll give them they'll get one parking pass. And then obviously there's street parking, I tell people they can park across the street from the town, North Beach Town Center, where the beach is.
And I know that not in this session, but in prior sessions, we definitely had, I think, some issues with the boardwalk parking discussion, so.
Yeah, it's in the summer. I mean, I don't know if you mean related to Airbnbs, but just in the summer in general. And especially the woman that used to live in my house, she really would get upset. But the house where I live in now, but yeah, my family will leave, so it won't be more people parking because you only get one pass. So I'll leave that for them, and then I let them know only one person can park there.
Thank you for that. Any other questions from the board members?
It looks like you have access through the back, so you don't just have boardwalk access.
Yeah, that's Dale's property, the guy that, so, but you're not allowed to park back there.
Okay,
Or like, I don't let people walk back there, because, that's Dale's area back there.
so they'll all be told, so it's just to enter.
Only in the front, yeah.
So there's no type of easement or anything through that adjacent property, is that correct?
No, I think there was at one time, but now it's kind of all locked in.
Okay.
It's Dale's driveway.
Right.
to his property, yeah. He does let us, park back there sometimes to like drop off groceries and stuff, but I don't like get that into Airbnb or anything.
Understood. Any other questions from the board?
Not for me.
Okay, so I'd like to open it up for public comment. Anybody on the call or in person have any questions or comments for the Ms. Hensley? Nobody? Okay. Back to the board. Any concerns or anything we need to discuss?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Anybody, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the vacation rental for 9131 Atlantic Avenue. If that's special.
We have a motion to approve the vacation rental for 9131 Atlantic Avenue. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Hensley. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, so we're moving on to case 2307. An application for variance of the ordinance for 4035 Second Street. Let me pull this up. I believe this is for a side yard setback issue in the rear of the property. The proponent is, sorry, John Johnson and Pamela Johnson. Are the Johnsons in?
Hi, President John. Hi, President John.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So would you tell us a little bit about your proposal and why you need a variance?
Well, the house is built right on the property line, and we're gonna add on to the back of it because we need a first floor bedroom and bath. So we're going to, we can't get 8 feet out, but we can get 3 feet out, which is 3 feet better than the rest of the house was. So we're gonna run that through to the end, and my neighbor, I don't think there's any issues. I've talked to the about it.
So this is an addition to an existing house. When was the existing house built?
Design and installation group.
Hi, this is Oneida. I'm on the Zoom call. I'm trying to get the information for you on when the original house was built.
I've got it at home. I just don't have it at home. I just don't.
It's looping because when we talk here, it's coming through.
And installation. I muted it. Let's see what it does.
Yeah.
That's work.
That's better. Whatever you did, it helps.
No one can hear Jim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it can.
Okay, great. I believe I don't have the information on when.
You're muted again.
Oneida, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I
Yeah.
apologize. I don't know what's happening. It keeps on muting me.
No.
I can 100% get the exact date on when the house was built. It was probably in the 1980s,
Jim, this
70s
is Rick.
currently.
The structure was built in 1990.
Oh, even better. I didn't even see that paper. Currently, we're looking to add about 600 square feet to the back of the house just to incorporate a master bedroom and for them, just because getting up the steps, it's getting a little complicated from the Johnsons. So currently the house has 0 variance, between the neighbor. So we're coming in about 3 feet from the right side of the house, as you can see there, and going about 30 feet back. 38.
So Rick, you say it was built in 1990. The site plan. The house is right on the property line. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. So the house is on the property line. The addition they are proposing will actually reduce the current setbacks of the property to add the addition.
I guess what we're all wondering is how did the house in the 90s get built right on the property line?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, but assuming it was actually approved in some fashion at that time, do they actually need a variance for this?
So we have brought these before the Board of Appeals. The zoning code does allow for an in-house approval by the zoning administrator, by my office. The reason we brought it tonight was just to stay in line with what had been done previously.
Okay.
It is an allowable variance by the code. Previously, like Mr. Hoffman used to bring them just so that there was a Board of Appeals number associated with the variance granted.
Right. I mean, it seems to be in line with things that I thought we've allowed before, even without the board weighing in on it, but
Previously, we just did one probably 7 or 8 months ago for a very similar property. People were moving here to live, and they were adding a master bedroom addition on a house on 5th Street. It was not going to extend the current setbacks, it was actually reducing them from the current house, just like this is.
okay. And just so I'm clear on this, it's merely the one side that they're concerned about, and other than that side setback on the one side, there's no other violation.
No other concerns for
Okay,
zoning, no.
okay. All right. Any of the other board members have any questions for the proponent?
So you plan on living in the house full time?
The rest of my life.
And it looks like you already want to run a planning. And they recommended approval or had no issue with it?
That's correct.
Yeah, it looks like they
They
have
had no issues.
That's
They
great.
just requested
Great.
a letter from the church saying that they were okay and they have approved it, and Mr. Kroom has it.
Yeah,
the
this is
letter-
Rick. So
yeah, the letter-
all of the requirements from the planning commission have been sent in to me. So all of the planning commission requirements have been met.
Yeah, I see the letter attached from the church saying that's good to do construction. No questions for me.
Okay. Any other board members have any questions? Okay, we'll briefly open up the floor to anybody that may have any questions from the public that they'd like to ask of Mr. Johnson. Anybody on the call that has any questions or concerns about it? No, okay, well, Mr. Johnson, you're welcome to sit down. Thank you for answering our
Thank you.
questions. Okay, so I mean, to me, this does not seem controversial in the least, or, like I said, I feel like we've certainly approved things like this before. And, with the planning commission in favor of it and, us having done similar things, I fully support the approval of the request. Does anybody have any concerns about that? Any particular caveats that they're interested in imposing?
For me, it sounds like there's enough room on the one side and then they have access from the back. So we don't have the normal worry where the houses are super close, you can't get through, because, yeah. So, nope.
It seems like that's the case. And it seems like there's plenty of room, even with the addition, to get around. Okay, anybody care to make a motion?
Motion that we approve the variance from terms of ordinance for 40-35 seconds.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
Okay, so we have a motion. Did the motion include a request to waive the side yard setback? I couldn't quite hear it.
Did not.
Right, so I think it's necessary for us to specifically include that in the motion.
Okay. I motion to approve the variance from terms of ordinance and waive the side yard setback for 4035 Second Street.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the variance for reduced side yard setback for 4035 Second Street. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, we are on to case 2308. Application for variance for 9214 Frederick Avenue. The proponent is Stephanie Travers. And the authorized agent is Gil Clark. Is Ms. Travers or Mr. Clark in attendance?
We both are.
Okay, great. How are you all tonight?
Good.
Great,
Okay,
thank you.
good. Can you tell us a little bit about the variance you're requesting and why you need it?
So right now, in front of the house, there's just a very small, wooden porch, with stairs going up to it. And it needs to be replaced. It's not doing very well. The stairs are bowed. And at the same time, I'm getting, a new roof and siding all around. So I figured this would be a good time to, add some curb appeal. A lot of the neighbors have been updating their houses. So I don't want to be, the ugly kid on the block. So this would be, a slightly bigger, front porch. That would include just a little portico over top so that packages left wouldn't get rained on. And when I was entering the house, I wouldn't be exposed to the elements.
Okay. And so this is a property that I guess officially Rick has 2 front yard setbacks because it fronts 2 streets. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a corner lot.
Okay, it is a corner. But Rick, is that what's going on here? That
So no, it doesn't have, it's got just a standard front yard setback. There's no entrance on the right. The only issue with that the variance is requested, so the extension into the front yard for the porch is allowable under the code. However, the code only allows for the extension if it's completely uncovered. And so they're
Right.
asking for a variance to cover it.
okay. So the setback requirement is if this were to be compliant and not require a variance, the roof would have to be no closer than 15 feet from the front line. Is that correct? Or can it?
The deck, right, under 5106 extension into yard areas, the extension that they're asking for the front stoop or deck itself would be allowed without a variance. The issue is that allowance is only granted, it specifically says totally uncovered, unenclosed.
Right.
So they don't want to enclose the deck, but they would like to put a stoop covering over top of the entire thing. And so that I'm not allowed to do in-house, would require the variance.
Gotcha.
And I couldn't find anything in the code that says it's not something that a variance is allowed for.
So I'm just a little confused about the rendering on page 4. I realize it's a computer rendering, but it almost looks like a fully enclosed addition in that rendering.
No, the rendering that you use is the one where it's a little offset.
Yeah.
I think it's just the rendering.
Computer rendering.
Yeah, because the door and the stairs would be centered right there, and it
Right.
would not be fully enclosed.
Okay, so I mean, I'm assuming the picture on page 5 more accurately portrays what you're planning to put in the house there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what he's talking about, yeah.
Oh, I see, because the white pillar.
Yeah, it'll just literally have 2 posts on each corner, a frame roof that's gonna extend and tie into the existing roof. And then the steps are coming straight down instead of off to the side to just make it more appealing with curb appeal.
Okay.
Just need the board to understand that the roof is going to be, so it'll be 6 foot by 10 foot, correct?
Yes, sir. It's,
Okay. I
currently
just
the
want to make sure
porch.
because, yeah, just because the one rendering shows kind of a small roof and the other one, the computer rendering was a little hard to understand. So I just want to make sure they understand that they're voting to approve the 6 foot by 10 foot to cover the entire deck area.
Yes, so currently the porch is 6 foot wide and comes out from the house 4 feet. And the steps go to the left, like 2 steps.
You can
And
barely swing the door open.
the proposed, it will be 10 feet wide and 6 feet out. So it's only going out 2 more feet. And then the steps. And then the porch will cover that 6 foot by 10 foot footprint.
And then that way, I can put like nice pots or something on the side and everything to better match the neighbors.
Understood. Thank you for that description. Do any of the board members have any questions?
I don't, it seems like a really nice upgrade and improvement to do to our house.
Agreed. Anybody else have any questions for the proponent? Okay, so at this time, I'd like to open up the floor for public comment or questions. Is anybody present that have any questions or on the Zoom call?
Carolyn, would you like to speak? You have a hand up? Oh, no, that was my hand on the screen.
Okay.
There's no comment, Jim.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. It wasn't clear on this end. Okay, so back to the board then. What are the board's thoughts about this? What kind of, any discussion we need to have about it?
I just have a general question for Rick. So uncovered is allowed up to how many feet from the front yard variance? And for the front
It's
yard.
allowed to go 6 feet into the variance, but no closer than 9 feet. And so that extending what they already have would be extending that. They're already within that area, but because they want to extend the deck, it's going to be extending something that's already within a non-conforming use. So they just needed the variance for the covering.
Right. So if they didn't have the covering, they could build the deck this size without a variance. It could be 6 by 10
Correct,
because it's not getting closer than 9 feet to the front yard.
correct.
So that's not a problem. So I think it was Jessica who asked the question. Whenever anything like this is covered, it's effectively treated by the code as a finished room. I mean, it's basically considered the same way.
Yeah, well, I think they look at it because it could easily be then enclosed in, so that's why the code is written the way it is and the variance is requested.
Right.
I will
and-
not be closing it ever.
Right, and I know we have had instances, different than this for sure, where folks have been building, say a deck, that might be a covered deck. And we've made stipulation of our approval, be that, the area can never be enclosed, that. I don't have that concern here, with this one, just because, it doesn't seem like something that you'd be enclosing in that size area at this location, but we have done that before. So it could be a condition of approval, but again, I don't really think it's necessary, just sharing what we've done in the past.
Necessary. It's not like she's already building it with partial enclosure or anything on it. I was just wondering. Yeah. So I'm good then.
Okay, any other comments from the board members? Okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
What do we call this one? This is what?
So, in theory, we could be granting a variance to reduce or to allow an extension into the yard area for a covered deck, basically.
Then I'd be happy to make that motion. So I motion to approve the variance for ordinance for an extension into the yard for a covered deck for the property at 9214 Frederick Avenue.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion to grant the variance for 9214 Frederick Avenue to allow an extension into the front yard area for a covered deck. We have a second.
I second that.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Travers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so that was I think that was the last thing on the agenda, right? Stacy? Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, any other things we need to discuss?
We have a public comment. Go ahead, Sandra.
Hi, here I am again. I just have a question. Does the zoning board have a role to play in the upcoming revision of the town comprehensive plan?
So are you talking about the appeals board?
Yes.
Right, so we do not have other than being, concerned citizens, we don't have an official role in that process. That's handled by the planning commission and I believe town council.
Okay, so in other words, your role is strictly to, follow applications regarding, the policy ordinances that are in place, but you do not make policy recommendations
Right.
as a body. Okay,
Our role is to deal with variances, special exceptions, any appeals of decisions that were made by say the planning commission. So we hear those special situations.
Right.
The planning commission has much broader authority and oversight than we do.
right. Okay, understood. Thanks. I appreciate your answer.
Thank you for coming. Okay, anybody else? We have a comment from Carolyn.
Just a question. I've did an appeal for a vacation rental also and had the inspection. And I just wanted to know when it would come up in front of the appeals board.
Carolyn, can you let us know when you submitted your application?
Beginning of March. Let me look.
Oh, you will not, you will go before the board in April.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Okay.
Thank
And the
you.
town has to send
Thanks,
out all
Steve.
the notice.
Lengthy process.
Okay, any other matters of business we need to cover?
Just one really quick question, in terms of, the approval, having paperwork to show to get the permits through. Is there a general timeline, for that, just for our planning purposes?
I'm sure Rick will reach out to you tomorrow.
Awesome,
And
okay,
then
thank
you can discuss that with them.
Yeah, but I'll have that permit sent over tomorrow or sometime this week as soon as I can get Kelly to process it.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do we need to hold a copy of the application for the?
You'll actually get a document, it's called a finding of facts. We'll get that, taken care of this week, and Kelly will reach back out to you with all that information.
Can I just tell you, I think I met her once, but she is amazing.
Yeah, she's
She's an incredible person and she's helped us so much.
yeah, so she'll give you all your official documents, hopefully by the end of the week, but don't hold me to that.
All right,
Okay, Jim.
okay. Anybody want to move to wrap things up?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I second it. It's
We have a
Audra.
second. All in
Bye.
favor? Aye, thank you all.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening.